Hey, what's up, everybody? How's it going? It's the Duke here, back again with another episode of the Weekend Wrap-Up. Only a day late this week. Hopefully I can get this posted today, because it's actually Saturday instead of Friday. I just ran out of time to shoot this yesterday. So, welcome everyone, all three of you out there in internet land, joining me here on this, is it still morning? It's just afternoon. On this lovely Saturday afternoon. Oh, do you like my mug? Available in the store, Etsy. Go ahead, check it out. This one is the neon wall mug. This one's actually 15 ounces, so it'll hold more than just a cup of coffee, if that's your thing. So, this week in review, we start with the week in review, then we look to the week ahead, and then we wrap it all up with a question for you, the internet viewer. So week in review, so I got my pressure pot in the mail. There's a video, if you're so inclined, with unboxing that, and I go over a bunch of stuff about talking about pressure pots, resin casting, that sort of thing. So feel free to check that out if you dig it. I'll throw a link to it down there in the YouTube world. So did that. The other thing I've been working on this week, actually got my other printer things for the 3D printer. So I got my fan cable and I got some, because I realized, funny story, when I was like, yeah, so I'm gonna upgrade to bigger fans and replace the fans that cool both the hot end and the parts. So there's a fan that cools the actual bit that heats up your filament, and there's another fan that cools what you're actually printing. So one of those was going bad. I wasn't sure which one, so I was like, I'm just gonna replace them both, that'll be fine. And then I realized that stock fan cables are not very long, and the fan cables that are used in 3D printer are very long. They have to go, a ways down and then under and into the motherboard, and so they're very long. So I was like, well, these aren't long enough. So I looked for extensions online, and they don't really exist. They do, but they're not long enough. Still not long enough for my needs. Crazy. So I was like, well, how hard can it be to make my own? Honestly, turns out not that hard. You just need the supplies. So I went and I got, I didn't go anywhere. I went to Amazon. That's where I went. Ordered some of the little clips for the cables that you can, plug into either the motherboard or the fan itself. I'm actually going to make a cable that's just a stock extension cable. So one end will plug into the motherboard. The other end will plug into the existing fan cable, so I don't have to cut or splice anything. So I'm just going to make those. Basically, I've got the connectors, I've got my wire, I've got my handy dandy wire crimper and connector crimper that does all of that nonsense. So probably I don't mean to look in the week ahead, but probably this week ahead is when I'm going to make those cables, actually wire up the fans, actually get the printer put back together and printing again. So I got those. That was one of the things this last week. And then the other thing that's going on this week, or that was going on this week, is I was polishing some dice. Well, not really polishing. I was really more sanding further. So this is the big D20, size of your fist. So this one, when first you saw this, it was very rough sanded, and so you could see a lot of the marks from the sandpaper on it. So this is down to, I last sanded this with 400 grit, so it's not quite into the polishing papers, and by that I mean these things. So this is a tool of the trade right here, Zona papers. So if you're, what should I say? If you're looking to get into dice making, this is what you need to make them super, super shiny and polished. Zona papers. So if it might be hard to see, maybe I can zoom in there. So they start at 600 grit, and then they go 1200, and as the number gets bigger, that means the grit is finer, meaning you're removing less material, but you're also essentially filling in surface scratches and things like that, making things very smooth and ultimately shiny. So this is basically these are known as polishing papers. In fact, it says right there, polishing paper, micron graded. So 600 grit is the first one, 1200, then 1800. Does that say 8,000? Good Lord, that says 8,000, 10,000, and 22,000. Like this white paper, this 22,000 grit, I felt it. It feels like a cloth, literally. And I'm like, wow. When they say polishing papers, they mean polishing papers. So I haven't even started on those yet. I have, like I said, I've simply, excuse me, I just had brunch. So I've simply kind of sanded these down to 400 grit. So you'll know you can't really see a ton of surface scratches anymore. The other cool thing about these, as I'm sanding them down, is they're getting sharper. Like these edges are super sharp. Look at this point. I don't know if you can see it on the camera there, but it's pointy. Like, wow, that's super sharp. And as I sand these down, polish them further, they're just gonna get sharper, which is kind of terrifying, slightly terrifying, but super cool nonetheless. So yeah, so I've been working on that. So is there anything else I've been working on? I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. I haven't made any new molds. I haven't cast anything because, like I said, I just unboxed the pressure pot last week. There were a couple of connections that, well, the safety release valve, the pressure release valve, I had actually gotten a new one from Amazon a week before I got the pressure pot. It's really nice. It's got a thumb screw on the top, so you don't have to fiddle around with like screwdrivers or pipe wrenches or anything like that. You literally just loosen it to lower the pressure that it pops off at, or tighten it down to increase the pressure. And it's got a handy little visual gauge, so you don't have to be fiddling with this while you're looking at your pressure gauge and saying, okay, well, where's it going to pop off? I don't want it to get too pressurized. No, it's just got a visual gauge. So if you set it to 60 psi, it should really sit at 60 psi. So I haven't played around with that yet, because when I put it on, I put the thread locker, the thread sealer. Actually, it's not thread locker, it's thread sealant, because it's the difference between locker and sealant is that the locker, when it dries, when it cures, it becomes bonded, and the only way to break that bond apparently is to heat up the connection to 400 degrees. So I really don't want to mess around with freaking torches to loosen my connections if need be. So I got the thread sealant, which still kind of hardens in the absence of air. So when you put it on the threads and screw it in, there's no air in between the thread of the screw and the threads in the nut, and then you've got your sealant in between, so that it kind of hardens, but it's still liquid enough that you can you can crank it open with a pipe wrench and still change your connections or do what you need to. So it's super cool stuff. I can't remember the brand right now, but if you look up, it's basically non-permanent thread sealant, and it works great. It's just it takes a couple of days to set up. So what I would recommend, and what they recommend on the instructions, is when you use it, you apply it, you tighten down your connections, and then you don't touch it for like 2 or 3 days, just to give it time to set up, because you don't want to run air or liquid or whatever you're running through there and have a chance for a leak before it's actually set up. So I put those, I put those new connections on with the thread sealant, I think 3 days ago now. So it's ready to go now, but I'm not gonna futz with it today. This is all I'm doing today, and then I'm calling it a weekend because, as I've said before, everyone deserves a weekend. So looking forward, let's transition to looking forward to the week ahead. In the week ahead, I'm actually going to run some air through my pressure pot and see if those connections are nice and solid. Hopefully, fingers crossed they are, because then I don't have to futz with it. Then I can say, okay, well, you know what? I've got this mold that's ready to do blank inclusions. It's all set. It's ready to do epoxy resin, even though this is the tin cure silicone that is stuff on it. Yikes. Even though this is the tin cure silicone, it's not going to last for a ton of castings. That way I can make my new masters, my new blank inclusion masters, and then remold them into the platinum cure silicone. So then I've got a essentially bulletproof mold that I can run for as long as I need to. I can also use the mold that I got from Shop J Dot, and because again, this is also a tin cure silicone mold because it was made with UV resin masters. So I can put some epoxy in this, put it in my pressure pot, and again make new masters that I can then recast or remold into platinum cure silicone and have some bulletproof fancy custom masters. So looking forward to that. So that hopefully both those things will be this week. The other thing that will be this week, I kind of already talked about it a little bit, was fixing up the printer. Got to make some cable extensions for the fans, plug those in, and yeah, then I think the printer will be ready to go. I'm actually looking forward to, I think I said this a couple videos back, actually looking forward to running some pie-shaped mold forms in the 3D printer, so then I can take 4 of those, put them in the pressure pot all at once, and I can cast 4 full sets of dice in one go. So that's going to be sweet. Looking forward to that. What else? I think that's it, actually, for kind of looking forward to the week ahead. It's just getting into it. So that should be cool. So I'm just about out of time, so I'm going to wrap this up, call it a weekend wrap up. Haha, see what I did there? I'm sorry. I apologize. No, I'm not sorry. So I'm going to end this with a question for all of you. I am interested to know, because it's still winter here. So, but it's warming up. So I'm kind of looking forward to getting outside and actually doing some more things outside now that it's not bitterly cold and sometimes below freezing in the middle of the day, which that's ridiculous. Like I don't like that. So what do you do? What do you like to do outside for fun? That's my question to you. What's when you can get outside, whether it's winter, spring, summer, fall, whenever you do get outside, when you get outside, what do you do? What's your fave thing to do out of doors? All right. So let me know in the comments. Hit me. Post a message on Patreon. Actually, you can't post a comment on YouTube because these videos are made for kids, which means no comments. And you know what? I'm okay with that because YouTube comments, cesspool. Don't need it. Nobody needs it in their life. So hit me up on Patreon, or tweet at me. I've got the Twitter, or I'm gonna post a quick reel, they call it, which reels are incredibly popular on Instagram. Like I've gotten literally thousands of views on my reels, whereas my pictures are like 20. Whatever. Anyway, so I'm gonna post a reel once this video is live on Instagram and let y'all know that it's ready to go. So if you want to answer the question there, feel free on Instagram as well. All right, I'm gonna call it a day. Until next time, everyone. Peace.